Tonight, talking about wills in Cyprus. Do you even need one? How can you set one up? And one specific law you should probably take into account before actually getting one created. You're watching Cyprus Unfiltered, where I tell you real stories about real life here in Cyprus. So look, at 43, I've never really been bothered with a will. I've never really thought I'm going to need one. And you know what? It's not something that entered my head. But in light of recent events, I thought probably should get something done. So I did. This week, I've been out and I've got my will done here in Cyprus. And what I wanted to do is just talk to you about the process, how it works, what it all looks like, how it differs to the UK. Because, well, let's be honest, in the UK, you can pretty much just go out and get a will done, a couple of witnesses, and you sign it. You can keep it in your drawer, and that's you done. You don't need to tell anybody. You can just present it as and when, and you can have a will as long as you've got some witnesses on there. Now, I know a lot of people go through legal, like lawyers and things like that, or solicitors, but for all intent and purposes, you can pretty much do your will yourself if you want to. Now, that's my understanding. I've never actually created a will in the UK. Like I say, I've never created a will before in my life. So what I will say is that just because I've done it in Cyprus this week doesn't necessarily mean that everything I say will be applicable to you. And I'm going to call out the bits that aren't, or where they could differ, because I'm going to talk to you about my experiences with the solicitors, with the lawyers in this case, which is interesting. You'll find that when you come to Cyprus, everybody calls the solicitors in the UK lawyers out here. Everybody's a lawyer, whereas everybody's a solicitor in the UK. But anyway, I just figured I'll share this with you. It's going to be the last video that I go live with this side of treatment. And so hopefully it'll be useful. So with all of that said, why bother? Why even bother with a Cyprus will? Well, put simply, if you own assets in Cyprus, it's worth considering a Cypriot will because it's going to make administration easier. If you were to die out here and you've got loved ones left behind and you've got things that you want to leave them, if you only have a British will, or worse, you have no will, then all of a sudden you've got to be dealing with the courts and you'll be going through probate and all of this stuff. And it's just going to delay the people you love getting the things you want them to have. So by having a will out here, it's going to avoid any of those types of issues, but also it's going to avoid any of your family having to try and navigate the Cypriot system they might potentially be back in the UK. So it's going to be quite tricky for them. But if you've got a Cypriot will and it's lodged with the courts, it's going to make the whole process a lot easier. Yes, there's going to be stuff to do, but it's going to be simpler. And the other thing is, like I say, if you still have a UK will, then it's worth having a UK will that covers your British assets and your Cypriot will covering your Cypriot assets. Again, for no other reason than administration purposes. So although I've not had a will in the UK, I've had to deal with probate too many times now. And in the UK, if you've got the will and you've got everything that's British, it's all going to be not easy, but it's as easy as those things can be. Whereas if you've got a Cypriot will, it might not be recognised. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. I've never tried to use a Cypriot will in the UK. But so what I would say is if you've got family in two places, you've got assets in two places, you're probably best off having a will in Cyprus, having a will in the UK, because it's just going to make the process a lot easier when it comes down to it. Now, if you're using a lawyer here in Cyprus to do it, there are a couple of ways you can do it. Like in the UK, you can use a solicitor or you can just do it yourself. But I'm going to tell you about my experience using a lawyer on the island because I needed to get it done. You'll have seen the news that I had last week. And I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, blimey, when was it? Wednesday, I think this week, I called up the solicitor, the lawyer, as a recommendation. Somebody recommended them to me. And I said, I could do with getting a will done really fast. When can you fit me in? And they said, can you come down Monday? And I said, no. I said, I might be in surgery Monday. Everything might be too late on Monday. I need it sooner than that. And then they said, okay, can you come down today at like 5 o'clock or whatever it was? So I think I was talking to them about 11 in the morning. I said, yes. So I went down 5 o'clock. But before I went down, because I had the recommendation, I'd actually got two quotes. So I got the quote from these guys, the quotes that I used, and I got quotes from another company who some friends had used. And basically, the price seems to be pretty standard. So before I just go into the story of the solicitor, they're just talking about pricing. The pricing seems to be pretty standard in that we would have paid €350 plus VAT for one will. But because me and my wife had a joint, well, not a joint, we had our wills done at the same time. So if I die, what goes to her? If she dies, what comes to me? That was €500 plus VAT. Now, that seemed to be pretty standard. That was the same as my friends paid. That's the same as what we paid. But the thing is, in the UK, it didn't cost anywhere near that. Like I say, you could literally write your own will up. Like in the days of ChatGPT now and everything else, you could create your own will, no problem. You tell it what you want and it will put in the legal clauses, and you could just get some witnesses to sign it, maybe get a solicitor to sign it off if you wanted to lodge it with a solicitor. But it was going to be a lot cheaper than that, right? At least from my recollection, from when my parents were doing it and things like that. Now, obviously that was a while ago, but that's the price you're looking at if you go through a lawyer on the island. So anyway, back to the story. So I was going in at 5 o'clock that day, and I think we got there for about 10 to 5, and we just, got there in time, and we sat down, and it was a lovely little family-run business. There was a father that owned it, the son was working there, and his aunt was kind of doing all the work. So it's proper family run. And by 5:17, we were done. It was that efficient. It was literally, they handled everything. They asked us a load of questions, told us what we wanted, we told them, and it was all done. And then literally that was on the Wednesday. They said, we're going to get a draft out to you on the Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll go to court. I'm like, what do you mean? We'll go to court? Well, in Cyprus, you can do this one of two ways as well. You can take your will to court and have it registered there too, or you can just leave it with the solicitor. Now, I'm going to answer whether you need to go to court or not later on, but they're the two ways you can do it. Now, when the solicitor had sent, the lawyer, when the lawyer had sent over the draft contract, to say I'd paid €500, I've got to be honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed, all right? It came back, it was 3 pages. One of those was the cover that said, Will, Mark Townend, their address. The rest of my will was pretty much on 1 page, and then there was a signature page on the 3rd page. And that was €500 plus. Not only was that €500 plus, but there were spelling mistakes in it. There was numerical mistakes in it. So we had the 24th, the date was the 24th. And that was the date we were going to be going to court, but they had in there like 24th and. So it's like 24 ND instead of TH. Now, I guess they're using a template. I guess they're just, whittling through it, and they were moving at pace, to be fair, because we asked them to. So they made errors. Not only that, but there was some differences between my will and my wife's will. So I had to correct those. So I literally just did it myself. Like literally Thursday evening, I got all the corrections and I just did it myself. And I sent them back to the solicitor and said to the lawyer and said, that's what we're using, right? Wasn't going to ask for permission. It's my will. I just said, that's the one we're using. Let's take that to court. So the point is, none of that stopped me using them, because at this point in time, I didn't really understand, and this is only last week, but I didn't really understand what you could do differently. And I just thought, you know what? I don't know the Cypriot system. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go with it. And so I used them anyway. But the key thing is that just because you're using professionals, do not trust what they've written. Make sure you do go through and check it. Make sure that what you're signing is the thing you want to say, because like I say, there were some inaccuracies in ours, and I had to go through and change them. I had to change it in my wife's because there was missing this huge thing around the insurance policy that I have in there, and it was missing that section completely. So I had to put it in. So if you are going to use a lawyer, just check it. So Friday comes around. We go to court, and we had to be there 9 a.m. sharp. And so in my mind, when somebody says court to me, I'm thinking there's going to be like a panel of people, there's going to be a judge, and that was what I had in my head. Like, I have to go to court. I don't know why. I didn't do anything wrong, but that's why I have to go, right? So anyway, so we go to court, 9 a.m. Now, we get there, and you go through metal detectors. You basically, it's like walking into any kind of high security building. You go through metal detectors, you put your bags and stuff through a metal detector as well, a bit like going through an airport. And then you walk through, and we assign some wills, as in your copies of my wills. Interestingly, my will has two witnesses on there. My witnesses had already signed before I got there. So, okay, cool. I'm not going to argue because we're moving at pace. But again, the witnesses. I've never met my witnesses. They I don't know who they are, but apparently they're people that the law firm use, and that's fine. And it was all cool. So just went with it, just roll with it. Now, I signed it because it was exactly what I wanted anyway. So irrespective of the witnesses, that was the will I wanted. And then you go round the corner and you're sitting down in this little waiting area. The only way I can describe it, it's a bit like you're waiting inside a doctor's surgery, waiting for your turn, or a bank, and you're just sitting there waiting for your turn. There's no ticketing system. There's no anything. If you didn't know, you would just be sort of sat there going, what am I waiting for? Who am I waiting for? So if you were going there and doing your own, you wouldn't know where to go. So again, using the solicitor, using the lawyer really helped. But the point is, when we got there, it wasn't a courtroom. It's just literally it's first come, first serve. And you're just waiting for a registrar in an office to open the door and call you in. So we go in. The lawyer's present. I'm there. I sign some more stuff in front of him, in front of the registrar. And at that point, she then asks me for my ID. I was like, bugger. Completely forgot my passport, didn't I? I'd got my Cypriot ID, but they needed the passport. I thought, oh God, I just had a hell of a week and I forgot it. There's no two ways about it. My fault. I forgot it. So at this point, the lawyer was also looking a little bit exasperated, and you could see this. You see him sign. He's like, "This guy's an idiot." And I was like, "Oh man, really sorry, guys, I forgot it." And they were like, "It's fine." The registrar said it's fine because the lawyer had a photocopy of my passport, and they just used that. Like they asked for the formal document, and they just used a photocopy of the passport. They didn't care about seeing the real thing or not. Okay, sweet, done, happy days. So that got me off the hook. The lawyer looked a bit happier at this point. And I got my will sorted and it was stamped and everything else. Now, when you register your will with the courts, they basically do everything by hand. And when I say everything by hand, I'm not joking. She had like a giant A4 paper notebook, right? And you have to get these stamps for the will. And I thought the stamps were going to go on the will. But no, they go in the notebook. So you imagine like a guest book. You go into a hotel or whatever, you got these old scratty like guest books, people writing in line or whatever, or a sign-in book if you go corporate. It was like that. And there's my line, like Mark Townend's will, written on this line, date and whatever, and they put these 2 paper stamps, like lick a stamp, stick it in the book. It's like honestly, it's like a stamp collection book. I was like, oh, okay, this is not what I expected. And I joked with them. I was like, where's your computer? Why are we putting it in this book? And they were like, oh no, computers aren't good in this case because computers can be hacked. Well, it's true, computers can be hacked, but my immediate thought was buildings can burn down. All right. So the court has this thing that has my line of my will in a cupboard somewhere or in a notebook at the moment on the registrar's desk. That's just alien to me. But I was like, cool, look, I'm not going to argue. I don't know the process. Let's just roll with it. And then they write it in a book. They then write something else in another book, which I couldn't see, but something else gets written in another book. So now I've got 2 notebooks. Don't know what happens if they lose one of them, but now there's 2 notebooks with my details in. And then they take my will and they put it in an envelope. They fold it up, put it in an envelope. This is the one I've then signed. And then they've got these foil kind of stamps, which on a stamp, I don't know, I'm not a legal person, but whatever you put on a stamp, they put in. And then they seal the envelope on both sides with this stamp. And so they have these foil seals on there. We all sign the envelope. So literally there's 3 signatures then on the envelope, mine, the registrar's, and my lawyer's. And then that's it. It goes somewhere there. And I get a receipt as well. I got a receipt which the lawyer kept, but I took a photo of. And it's basically to say that this is your receipt for your will. So imagine when you go into, I don't know, I'm going to say like a nightclub or something. You maybe haven't been to a nightclub for years, but literally you go in somewhere, and you hand your coat in and they give you a ticket, like a I don't know, just like a ticket with an ID on there, right? It was kind of like that. So my will went over and they handed me a receipt or a ticket with my will number on it. And then that goes into the lawyer's folder, which has got all my details there. So then I've got a document, or my will is registered in the court, and I've got my will registered with the lawyer. And so they have a copy, the court's got a copy, I've got a copy that's not signed. And so that was then pretty much the end of the process. Now, I started asking questions at this point because I was like, well, look, if I want to change something, like, because we're renting a house, for instance, they made me put the address of where I live on the will. I was like, yeah, but we're renting. We're literally just moving now. As a result of everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks, we're literally in the process of moving. We just signed a contract for a new place at the weekend. And so I'm like, so if I move in 2 years' time, let's say, do I then need to go through this, pay another €500 and update the will and so on and so forth? And I got a little bit of a sketchy answer on that. I didn't really get confirmation as to whether it would be another €500 or not, but I feel like it probably would be. But they did say you can retract the will. You can withdraw the will at any time. I can literally go in. I've got the receipt number because I took a photo of it. Make sure you do, by the way, if you're using a lawyer, make sure you actually keep a record of it yourself. And then you could just go in and retract the will and you could replace it and you can amend it and you can do whatever. But if you're using a lawyer and you've gone directly to the court, then you're going to have two different versions of the will. Why is that important? Well, the reason why you use a court in the first place is because in the event of anybody else, let's say pulling a will out of the hat, let's say you've got family that don't get on and they're disputing the will. If you've got a will registered with the court and you've got another will that just happens to pop out of thin air, maybe they forged it, maybe it's with another solicitor, the court supersedes any other will held by any other party. So if you have a will registered with the court, that is the one that will be used in the event of you passing away. Okay, cool. So my advice at this point is whether you use a lawyer or not, put your will, the one that you actually want, in a court because it is much, much harder to be disputed later on. I don't know if it can be appealed. I haven't done that yet. I've only got a small family now anyway, so I don't know if it can be appealed. But it feels like in Cyprus, you are safer to put the actual will that you want in with the court, and it just stops any kind of funny business later on. The other thing you need when you're submitting these documents is you need to choose an executor. Now, in my will, my wife becomes the executor if I die. If she dies, I become the executor. And if we both die, technically Jacob, my son, becomes the executor. However, he cannot become the executor until he is 18 years old. So we had to put a clause in our will that says this person will be the executor up until the point Jacob turns 18. If Jacob is 18 at the time of our death, then he is the executor, not the appointed executor in the interim. Now, when we were looking to do this, because we were trying to move at pace, they said, do you have an executor? Who could it be? And I says, well, not really sure. We just need to kind of get it done. They said, cool, we can be your executor. So in the event of you dying or you both dying together, we can be the executor and look after Jacob in the meantime. I was like, will you though? And at what cost? So I started questioning the fee structure. Started asking how much it would cost. Now, I already did my own research on this, and some lawyers might charge between like 3 and 5% of an estate value. Can be less, can be more, it varies. Everybody's going to be different. But the point is, there is a fee structure because they're not doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. So they're going to charge you. So I asked them, what will it be? And they said, we don't know. We can't tell you. Why not? Well, because it depends on the value of your estate. Cool. Get that. What's the percentage? Don't know. Can't tell you. I feel like I'm going to get screwed here. In my death, I'm going to get screwed, or my son's going to get screwed. And they said, look, if you don't like it, you can just appoint your own. So I was like, cool, I'll do that. So literally, this was on the Thursday night. So I was having this conversation on the Thursday before I went to court. Spoke to a close friend, got it sorted, and I changed the details to him. And that's when I was like, use this one. Don't use the one with the law firm mentioned in it. Use this one. This is the one we're going with. And then when I got to court, I checked that was the one they used, and it's all cool and it's in there. So sweet. So I've done that. But just be aware that if you are looking to do something like that, let's say you're moving out to the island, and you might not know anybody yet. You might not have any close friends. You might not have anybody that you trust. Then if you're going to put the executor part with a lawyer or with a law firm, make sure you get clarity on the fees. And if they won't give you clarity on the fees, then maybe look to find something else. Maybe look to do something else, because I don't know. I like I say, they didn't do me anything other than a good service, but I like transparency, and I couldn't get transparency. So like, okay, cool. I'm going to sort this myself. It didn't seem like a difficult question. Seemingly it was. So all of that then being said, I then was looking through the wills because I've gone through all of this, and there is a clause that you need to put in. If you're from the UK, if you're a British citizen, there is a clause that you need to put in your will. You have to put it in. Well, you don't have to. I recommend you put it in. And that's because in Cyprus, and this is one of the things that people don't realize, excuse me, is there is a forced heirship law. And what that means is that you've got these forced heirship laws that basically says if you have a spouse, so if you leave a spouse and children behind, then only 25% of your estate you can freely do what you want with. So if you wanted to leave it to your cat, you can only leave 25% of your estate to your cat. If you have children or a wife or a husband or a partner, whatever, yeah, if you've got a spouse and children, you can only leave 25% of it to whoever you want to. Charity could be your aunt, your uncle, your brother, but you can only be 25%. The other 75% through Cypriot law is forced. It's a forced heirship, and it must go to your wife or your partner, and it must go to your child. I don't know the percentages and what the split is. Is it like, is it 50-50 of the 75% to each? Presumably it just goes to your partner first and then to the child. But I didn't look into it because what you can do as a British citizen, and this is what a lot of expats do, is what I just did, is as a British national, you can include a clause that says you want to use British law for this part of the will. You want to call upon British law instead of the Cypriot law, right? And this is something that my solicitor actually did for me, but it was something I'd already checked before going in because I'd heard of this forced heirship law previously, didn't really dig into it because, hey, I didn't have a will. I wasn't writing a will. And so when I heard about it, I made sure that that was absolutely in the contract because, of course, I want everything to go to my wife and my son. But let's just say, tragically, we were to fall out and I became estranged from them for whatever reason. Yeah. Well, if it's my will, I want the freedom to be able to do what I want with my will. Right. Now, the reality is at the moment, everything goes to my wife. And if she's not around, everything goes to my son. It's that simple. Right. But by putting that clause in there, it allows me to actually choose what I want rather than being told by Cypriot law, that's what you will do. And that was important for me. I wanted total flexibility and total freedom. So that's what it did. So if you are going to have a will done out here, just if that would impact you and, then you need to have that clause put in. Because again, I don't know what happens if there is a claim for second marriages. I have no idea. So I just put it in. And in that way, whatever I write in my will is what I want. And I don't have to worry about some forced heirship law. Maybe there's a heirship law that says if you were previously married, then maybe they get something. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not trying to give you legal advice here. I'm just saying, if you want full control, there is a statement that you need to put in. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking at this point, well, can I just do it myself? Right? And what I would say is, short answer is yes. Excuse me. Short answer is yes. Knowing what I know now, I would probably have done mine myself. I wouldn't have spent the €500 plus the VAT. I would have done it myself. But that is because our will is really, really simple. There's my wife and there's my son, right? And the terms are equal back and forth. If my wife dies, I get everything. If I die, she gets everything. If we both die, my son gets everything. Done. Super simple. But also, we don't have any real kind of assets of note anymore in the UK because we sold our house when we came here. Yeah, we've got a couple of companies, but they are very small. I use one for my IT contracting. And so as a result, there's nothing worthy of note that'd be worth losing sleep over. So we just looked at it and gone, right, we only need a Cypriot will. We don't have a UK will because we operate everything out here anyway now. So we just said, right, fine. We've only got Cypriot assets and it's everything. It's like whatever you've got out here, shares in companies, immovable, non-immovable, all those types of things is what we put into our will. And so going forward, any updates, I'll probably just do them myself because I don't want to get charged €500 plus VAT if I just need to update my address, especially since I had to update it and change it anyway, right? So that's my take on it. But as I say, this isn't advice. If you've got complex legal affairs, then you probably want to speak to a lawyer. If you've got assets in multiple countries, if you've got assets in more than just Cyprus, maybe you've had previous partners. I don't know. Maybe you're paying like maintenance for kids. I don't know. But if you've got something complex, maybe it's worth speaking to a lawyer anyway. Maybe it's worth you just paying the money and then getting that peace of mind. But for me, there's nothing that I couldn't have done through ChatGPT, because I could go to the court myself. This is the thing. You could go to the court yourself. And actually, I'm going to show you this, because what I want to do is just show you the court in Paphos. And I'm going to give you a bit of an update. So the court district in Paphos is actually quite nice. When you go there, it's, where are we? Somewhere here. Where are we? Paphos Court. There we go. So the court district around here is actually quite nice. You've got some coffee shops. You've got basically all of the not HMRC. You've got the sort of the business type stuff. So you've got the customs and revenue. So for those of you that have seen any of my driving videos, so you've got the courts here. And if you go to any of the government for customs, moving your car across, it's this tall building here. And so you just come around the back, you park here, and but this area is kind of okay. It's just it's where the court is. It's all very formal. You've got a coffee shop on the corner, where I think a lot of the court folks will drink, because when you go in there, you always see people kind of suited and booted, and they're always going to and from the court. And so I just get the impression that this is kind of where people are working. This is where people are doing their thing. But anyway, so you come down to the court area, and let me just show you this. That's the coffee shop. It's no longer Arabica. It's no longer Arabica, but anyway, we can come here. So you've got these little steps, and literally at the top of the steps, you've got the metal detectors as you walk through. And when you're coming out, you kind of have to walk around past this way. You kind of walk around, you don't go back through the same way. But anyway, so you go into this building here. Now, you don't make an appointment. You just rock up. But like I say, it's like a doctor's waiting area. You just rock up and you go in. So you go in, and if I go now back to the satellite photo, right, let's see if we can move on. Yeah, so basically, as you walk in here, make sure you can see that. As you walk in here, you literally go to the left, and if you see, you've got like a wing of the building here, right? So you've got the left wing, the right wing. That's what we're going to call it. Don't know if it's true. Go down the left wing. And as you come round, the office that we're in is all on the ground floor, was pretty much this corner here, right? Is this corner. And so you walk in, you go round, and you literally sit in a little waiting area just there. Now, because my lawyer had already bought the stamps before I got there, I'm assuming at this point, because they love stamps in this place, when we were doing the immigration, we had to get stamps from the court. Well, if he had to get them, it's cash only, and you pay about €2 or €4 for the stamps. And as you walk in, you go down to the right wing, and there's a little office there. It almost looks like a clerk's little, like a shoe cupboard almost. It's very small. But you walk in this office there, and it's like, that's where you get your stamps. And you walk in, you say, hey, I need some stamps. And they go, cool. And you can only pay cash, and then they give you some stamps. So you need those stamps so that they can put them in their notebook, right? So you get your stamps from here. You then walk back this way, kind of ignoring everybody along the way. And then you go around to this little area here. I think we're still good. No, it's gone away now. Cool, we're still good. Right. So yes, then my executor would just have the details, or me and my wife have got the details. So we wouldn't necessarily need to use a lawyer anymore. But anyway, that's just what I would do. So yeah, if you're going to do your own, then you can literally do it that way. Like I say, it might take a little bit of muddling through when you get there, but if you've got your will and you've got it stamped, you're going to need it signed by two witnesses, of which I asked them about the witnesses for this video. And I said, do they need to be anybody formal? Because from what I understand, in the UK, they need to be somebody who's professional, whether it be a director, whether it be a teacher. I don't think serving police officers can, but it needs to be somebody who is of a particular role. Here, what I'm told, anybody could sign it. Like the bin men coming around collecting the bins, you could ask them, which is mad. They're supposed to witness you signing the signature, and then imagine there was ever dispute in the future, man, right? Or what if he's moved? Like, it's not like I get his address. Somebody watched me sign a bit of paper. You could make it up. You could forge it, right? So it makes no sense. But then that in itself makes me think I would want to register my will with the courts, because that one will supersede all. So then you're going to sign stuff in front of them, and the courts are going to have the actual will rather than you just doing your own. And rather than somebody potentially, if you've got a really big estate, who knows, you could be open to fraud. You don't know. And then you've got two wills and you've got to try and dispute it, right? So I would probably do that. I would literally just get somebody that I know to witness it, and then I would go and take it there. So that's what I would do. And that's wills. That's wills in Cyprus. So I'm going to move over to the like and share screen now. Before we come on to the Q&A, we're going to go over to like and share, because hopefully you've been finding this useful. And look, I just want to say that when I moved to Cyprus, there was nobody really showing what life was really like out here, at least not at this level. And so, as always, I keep trying to document it now for the rest of us. And my only ask is, if you're finding this informative, if you're finding the information useful, you think somebody else might like it, then... Oh, hang on a minute. I'm being told my sound has gone. Bugger, why is my sound gone? Let's just come back to here. Guys, can anybody hear me? I lost sound too. Just restart the video and it's on. Oh, okay. It seems like we do have sound. Thanks, Asha, for checking. So have I. Lots of people lost sound. Why are they losing sound? How strange. Again, this is a bit of flakiness on YouTube's front. Back now gone. We'll restart. Oh. Try rebooting. Okay, shame. Look, okay, cool. While you guys are sorting the sound out, let me get back to this. So what I was saying was, if you're finding this information useful and you can hear me, then give it a like and a share. If you think somebody else will find it useful, then just share it. If you see somebody asking about it on Facebook, whatever, share it with your friends. The more people this goes out to, the more people I can help, and the more everybody gets the information. So yes, that is that. Thank you very much. Now, I am going to come on to the live Q&A. I'm going to do another one tonight. It will be slightly shorter tonight because we've got friends landing from the UK in about an hour's time. So I will go for as long as I can, probably till they walk in the door. My wife's going to go pick them up. We'll go for as long as I can. I wanted to go for a record tonight, seeing as tonight is probably going to be one of the last ones for a little bit. I was going to go for a new record, but not to be. So on that point, Cyprus Unfiltered is unfortunately taking a break. If you are watching tonight for the first time or you didn't catch it last week, we are taking a break because I've got to go in for some surgery later on this week, and I'm going to be out of it for a little while. I'm going to be honest, I'm really frustrated, really frustrated, because I felt like we're getting some momentum on this now, but also for me personally, it was a personal target I'd set. I wanted to go live every week for a year. And then I was going to see how it was. If I was still talking to myself at that point, then I would probably knock it on the head. I thought if you give something a go for a year and nobody was finding it useful, then I'd probably knock it on the head. But anyway, I wanted to go live every week for a year, and I couldn't, and I can't. And it's really annoyed me. I'm not going to lie. It's frustrating the hell out of me. So look, I'm not going to be going live next week. This is the last one for a bit. For those of you that don't know, I have just been recently diagnosed with serious illness, and I've got to go for surgery, and I'm going to be then in hospital for 10 days, and then I'm going to be going through some radiotherapy and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be around for a bit, and it's just really annoying. And the thing is, recovery is expected to take months rather than days, which means my surgeons told me that I am going to be putting my life on hold for the next 6 to 9 months. Now, that's not going to put this on hold for 6 to 9 months, but it will be on hold for a number of weeks. I don't know how many weeks, because you can probably hear I've got a bit of a lisp now. I'm not going to be able to speak properly for a considerable period. Like right at the moment, I've had paralysis develop in my face, and I've got paralysis here. I can't even smile properly anymore. I'm not even able to talk properly. I've got paralysis developing in my face here, and when they take this cancerous thing out of my neck, they're going to have to do a nerve graft. And that means I am going to be paralyzed here for at least 6 months. Now, if the nerve graft takes, then within 6 to 12 months, I start to get some feeling and motion back. But anyway, you're going to see a different side of me, because I'm going to be speaking on one side of my face. I'm going to be smiling on one side of my face. It is what it is. So also means I can't blink. So at the moment, you're probably watching me like I'm kind of sitting here. It looks like I'm winking at you all the time. I'm not. I'm trying to blink, but I can't blink. Right. So it is what it is. So yes, that's going to be frustrating. But the point is, I don't know how long it's going to be until I can speak again, because I'm going to have stitches everywhere. Then I'm going to be doing radiotherapy and all of that. So I will get back as quick as I can. That's what I'm saying. When I come back, then things will probably be different in that I'm not going to have the energy that I've got now. At least this is what I'm being told. I'm not necessarily going to have the energy that I've got now to be able to do marathons on a Sunday night. So I might just do shorter videos, or I might just do a live Q&A, ask me anything. It might be a short, come on, answer questions, and that's the video done for the week, because I want to keep trying to help people out, right? I will try and give updates as and when I can. I'm going to try and provide updates, and if there's something meaningful, then I will say what I can when I can. But I'm very cautious, because going forward, I don't want to make this channel a health focused one. I don't want it to be about me all the time. I want it to be about you guys and how I can help and how I can serve. So I will give updates if I think it's of interest to you. If I think, somebody might want to know what post-cancer treatment looks like on the island, I'll tell you. Am I going to be telling you what I'm doing day to day? No, because you guys don't care, I guess. I know, sorry, that sounds horrible. It's not Big Brother, right? Maybe I could do a live stream from the operating theatre. Don't know if they'd like that. Don't know if you'd like that, or I can maybe just perch the camera and you can watch me sleep for 10 days. I don't know. But the point is, I am going to just give updates, certainly on this channel, where I think people will get value from it. I'm not going to tell you everything that's going on in my life, because what's the point? People will get bored of that. And I don't want you to get bored, because I want to carry on. I want to carry on giving good information and giving good content, and content that's useful. And it's, like I say, it's not all going to be about me. Some parts of what I'm trying to do are going to remain, right? And when I say some parts, the live element will remain when I can get back to it. In the interim, because I don't want to lose momentum, the momentum that I've built up, a lot of you guys, and I know this because you've told me, you wait for me to come on a Sunday night, and I feel very privileged for that, right? So you guys tune in on a Sunday night, and that's not going to happen for a bit. And so I'm still going to try and drip feed content out, but it might be written stuff. It might be that I've done a small pre-recorded video, or maybe I'll just do a really quick live video. I don't know, but I'm going to try and give you something, but it's going to be as and when health permits, right? So I can't promise anything at this stage. So I've got to slow down temporarily, right? And that is kind of what's going to happen. Now, the meetups, they're still going to happen. I want them to happen, because the meetups aren't about me. They're about you. I wanted to build something that meant that when people were coming out to Cyprus, they could be part of a community where they know people, where they've met people, even though it's only through Messenger, even though it's only through chat on a Sunday night. Yeah. I wanted to build something that was just more than me, because it's not about me. Like I say, I've got friends out here. I don't need to do any of this, but I'm trying to build something for other people. So the next meetup is this coming Saturday. I'm not going to be there. In fact, on Saturday, because I've had it confirmed that my appointment, my surgery takes place on Thursday, I'm going to be in intensive care on Saturday. I wanted to be able to dial in and do a WhatsApp call and at least wave or something. I don't think I can do that, because I'm going to be in intensive care. So I'm not going to be able to do that, which is a shame. But my wife is going to swing by. Like I say, we've got visitors arriving tonight. My wife's going to swing by, and she will come down to Cliff Social and just swing by, say hello, but hopefully you guys will go and you'll meet up and you'll carry on anyway. And then in September, at that point, I'll be fine. I'll probably still have scars. Well, of course I'm going to have a scar. I'm probably going to have stitches maybe. I'm not going to be able to talk a huge amount. But I'll come in September. I'll probably have to get driven there, because I'm not allowed to drive after surgery for like 4 to 6 weeks or something crap. And I hate that, because I love driving. And that's going to really annoy me. It's going to do my head in. I'm going to be honest. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm going to have to be a passenger. But I'll come there in September. But yeah, this August, Saturday, we'll go ahead. It's going to be the Cliff Social. I haven't yet got around to speaking to them. I'm going to speak to them this week before surgery. I'm going to make sure that all happens, make sure we've got somewhere booked. And like I say, that'll probably be the home for a little bit. I know it was mentioned last week about Camaris, but Camaris is great for people in Tala and Camaris, but for people that are in Paphos, the Cliff Social is a little bit more central for everybody. So we'll do that one for now, and then we'll see. If we don't like Cliff Social, if I'm getting feedback and it's not very good, people don't like it, then we can change, right? It's within our gift, we can change it. But yeah, so again, like I set this up so that people can make friends, people can meet new people. And so, irrespective of whether I'm there or not, please come. Please come, because you're going to meet people that you're sitting in comments tonight and you're talking to people. So just come. And like I say, I'll be back. And this isn't going to beat me. I'm going to be back and we'll carry on. We'll carry on where we left off. The stream has gone black and is back. Hopefully you can all hear me. But anyway, hopefully you can hear me. Cool. So look, that is it. And the last thing I'm going to say before we go on to live Q&A, we are going to go on to live Q&A in a minute. The last thing I'm going to say is I have set up a WhatsApp group this weekend. And I've set a WhatsApp group up for a couple of reasons. Because firstly, it's been the support that you guys have given me has been overwhelming this week. Like the amount of messages I'm getting through, and I appreciate I've not responded to everything. Loads of you put comments on the videos. I've been getting loads of personal messages, been getting messages on Facebook, I've been getting messages on Instagram, on WhatsApp, and in comments, and I'm desperately trying to keep on top of them. I'm going to try to reply to everybody before I go in, right? But going forward, that's just going to be a nightmare. So I set up a WhatsApp group initially thinking, well, that's okay. For anybody that is interested, then we can give you updates along the way, and I'll just keep you updated of where I'm at when I'm coming back. My wife can give you updates about surgery this week. And so that's the first thing. But I was going to do this anyways, just this has now accelerated it because, more importantly, again, coming back to you guys, right? Once I'm on the other side of this, what it's going to allow us to do is it can communicate with you more directly, more than just once a week, right? Or more than individual messages to individual people. And so I can keep you updated with any of the meetups that's going on, right? So the stuff for the first of the month, if there's any changes or whatever, if you're in the WhatsApp group, then it's going to help you. And I can keep everybody in the loop all at the same time. But also, you guys can chat to each other as well, right? You can then dip out, and if you make friends, you've all got each other's numbers at that point, because you'll be in the group and you've got each other's numbers. And again, if you guys can make friends with each other, awesome, right? But the other thing is that I'm also contemplating, and this is where I was going, I've got loads of ideas, I always have loads of ideas, but I was also contemplating setting up an extra meeting, whether it be weekly, monthly, I don't know yet. I was thinking through the format in my head and I haven't landed on a format yet. But I was going to do an extra meeting that was purely business focused, because I know a lot of people watching this are business owners, entrepreneurs, things like that. Not everybody is, but some of you are, a lot of people are. So rather than turning Cyprus Unfiltered and the social meetups into a pitch fest, which I absolutely don't want, I want you guys to just have fun, right? I'm thinking I can do a breakout group for people that are interested in talking business, talking opportunities, talking, it could be investments, it could be new business ideas, it could be whatever. You guys might decide to joint venture with yourselves, between yourselves. So I thought, well, actually, I can keep people abreast of that as well, and it just allows us to kind of have this community where we can all help each other, we can all support, and who knows, maybe the social turns into paddle games, tennis games, beach volleyball, just a trip to the beach, just have fun, right? It doesn't matter. You can go up to the Troodos Mountains and all just go up there in convoy, just everybody can have a bit of fun, right? So if you want to join the WhatsApp group, I know quite a few of you watching this, people that have already exchanged numbers with, we've already given you that. But for those of you that haven't, or maybe you're watching this for the first time, people who haven't got access already, what I've done is I've just created this. And basically, what it is just another form for you to go in and go, right, if you want to be part of the WhatsApp community, just fill in your name. Oh, what an idiot. I didn't put a phone number on. What an idiot. Okay. Don't go there tonight. I will put the link in. Go there tomorrow. I'll update the number before I go to bed. Oh man, what a twonk. I'm going to put that in the chat. Don't go there now, because if you go there now and you register, then no, hang on a minute. No. I'm being a twonk. Am I? Hang on a minute. You can go there now, because when you fill in those details, you're going to go through to the next screen and it's going to come up with a QR code. And you can just scan that, and that's going to let you in. It will send me your number at that point. So then I don't need to find your number to add you in, because when you scan the QR code, it's going to let you in anyway, or it's going to come through for an approval request. So if you want to join the WhatsApp group, just fill in your details. What I'm going to say, I'll say this every time, right? Yes, I've put a disclaimer on here. Yes, There's a privacy policy and all of that good stuff, right? At this point in time, I literally have nothing to sell you. I have nothing to sell you. I have no agenda with any of this, right? I've got nothing. So I'm putting that on there because who knows, a year from now, I might have something, might be of interest, in which case I'll tell you about it, right? But also on this, I want to point this out because not everybody is necessarily aware of this. If you join the WhatsApp community, people are going to have your number. People are going to have your photo that's on there. So if you've got an embarrassing photo you don't want people to see, I'm just calling it out that people will see it because you join the group. And that's the whole point. People can see you, they can see your number and everything else. So if you've got things that you don't want people to see, then don't join or change your picture and stuff beforehand. But I just wanted to call that out, right? So if you want to join, do that. Like I say, there will be, if you fill in the details, there'll be a QR code on the next screen. There's also a link. If you're doing this on your phone and you think, well, how am I going to scan the QR code with my phone because I'm on it? There's a link there as well. You can press it and it's going to take you through to the group. And finally, if all of that doesn't work and you fill it all in and you go, oh, there's a QR code there, and then you close it down because you're a twonk like me, then it's going to email you as well and you'll get it in your email. So then you can just click on it there too. Right, that's enough of that. Let's go over to you. I'm going to go into the chat and we are going to go to your questions because that's what I want to do. I'm going to do it for as long as I can. I can still hear my wife and my boy downstairs, which means I've definitely got about an hour because it's half an hour each way to the airport and they haven't left yet. So let's go for it. Let's see who's in the comments. Let's see what questions people are asking. Railway History UK. Stephen, good evening, Mark, from Stephen Tracy. I hope all goes well for you. Look forward to a cuppa and a chat once we are over there permanently. Thank you. And likewise, me too. Me too. An evening as well, Stephen Tracy. Thanks for joining. Philip Shaw. Hi. Hi, Philip. Philip Rowlands. Hi, Mark and Asha, and greetings from Wales. Greetings, and hopefully it's not still sunny in Wales because, and I don't get this because I came out here for the heat. Everybody I speak to in England is complaining it's too hot. So I'm assuming that it's too hot in Wales too. I don't know. Is it ever too hot in Wales? Not sure. Anyway, evening, Philip. Juliet Winnett. Good evening. Good evening, Juliet. Thanks for joining. Mike Cummings. Evening, Mark. Evening, Mike. Evening, Joanne, if you are there. Lee. Evening, Mark. At voice. Asking for fans. Right, Lee. Well, it doesn't become null and void. What I would say is, if you've got two wills, it's going to become something that you guys need to manage. And I think this is where. So I'm talking right. So my dad. Let me come back to this. So let me come at it this way. So my dad, after my mum died, he remarried a few years later, and he remarried, and he had property in a foreign country and property in the UK. And in order to transfer assets in the foreign country to his new wife, it would have been super simple had he had a will there. But he didn't. He only had an English will, which meant everything was back and forth. Everything was translations because they needed it in their local language, right? So what I would say is have a Cypriot will, have a British will, and just have the Cypriot will cover your Cypriot assets, have the English will or your other will for people that aren't from the UK, then have your homeland will cover your homeland assets. So you've got two distinct wills, right? That's going to make things really easy when it comes down to the authorities in each country, because I'm guessing if you took a Cypriot will only to the UK courts, I mean, it's going to be a nightmare, right? And if you took a British will only to the Cypriot courts, I mean, things here can take years. So you might be stuck in probate for many, many years, or your kids might be, or your wife might be, Lou might be. So I would just have a will in each country that you have assets. That would be the best way to do it. Based on experience, based on what I've seen with my own dad, I would do it that way. So if you've got assets in multiple countries, then make wills in those countries, because that way it's going to keep it all super clean. Hopefully that answers the question, Lee. Karen, good evening, Mark. Wishing you all the best and hope to see you back soon. Thanks, Karen. I hope to be back soon. I'm going to be honest. So I'm gonna miss the Sunday nights, especially next week. I'm gonna be feeling sorry for myself. I'm gonna be licking my wounds. Well, I won't, because I'm gonna have a numb tongue and I can't lick my wounds because I have stitches in my mouth. I'm gonna sit there and feel sorry for myself, and I'm gonna know that Sunday night I should have been on here and I won't be. And that's gonna be unpleasant. My username is Jeff. Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Jeff and Sharon. I hope you're keeping as well as can be. Jeff and Sharon, South Wales. I am keeping as well as can be. I'm feeling very positive. I'm not going to lie. I'm feeling very good, actually. We've been today, for those of you that are interested, I actually got up at 5:30. We were working by 6:00. And we've been putting loads of signage up today. Me and business partner and our wives. We've been, even the kids as well, been putting loads of signage up and new imagery. So it's been a long day today. But I'm good. I'm good. Lee, it sounds like we need to start up a Cyprus Unfiltered will service. Charge €4.99. Ka-ching. Well, actually, Lee, it's funny you should say that, because I'm really sorry, I've got to rub my eye. I can't blink, and so my eye's drying out. So where was I going to go with that? Yeah, something I wanted to do for you guys, and I didn't get a chance to do it. I ran out of time today. Something I wanted to do for you guys was to effectively give you my will, right? I'll remove the details. I'll turn it into a template for anybody that wants it. I'll turn it into a template and just send it you. You can fill in your own details, and then you've basically got what I would have had. Obviously, I'll remove the details of the solicitor, so it's not so it's all confidential, and it's just whatever, it's just yours. Oh, blimey, this is going to keep going now. My eye's drying out. I've got the fan and the aircon going, and it's going to dry out now. You're going to see me poking my eye. But what I might do is I might WhatsApp group. There's a reason to join. I will put a template of my own will into the WhatsApp group, and you can all download it. And then that way, we don't even need to charge $4.99. We can just give it away, because why not? Like I say, I'm not pitching anything on this at the moment. There's nothing to sell. So if anybody wants a copy of my will, then I'm not going to give you a copy of my will. That would be stupid. I'm going to give you a copy of the template. How's that? Nuts in May. My wife hates talk. Sorry, my eye is. I'll come on to that in just a second. Sorry, guys. Try again. Right. My wife hates talking about any of this stuff, but it has to be sorted. Only responsible, thoughtful people go through this to make it easy for the next of kin. Worst happens. Well done, Mark. No, well, cheers, Keith. Cheers, Sarah. I agree. And like I say, I'd never thought of it until this week. You think you're going to live forever. And like I said last week, tomorrow's not promised to anybody. And in hindsight, I probably should have done it a lot sooner. But here we are. I don't think anybody really thinks about it. People don't start thinking about this type of thing until they get older in life. And, what's the harm in, like you say, looking after your loved ones? What's the harm in making sure that they've got what they need? And what's the harm in just being prepared? People don't like talking about it. People don't like talking about mortality and death and everything else. And I get it. I do get it. It's miserable, and nobody wants to think about that. But it's going to make life simpler if you do think about it. What I would say, and you guys are probably figuring this out about me, is I'm never afraid to have the hard conversation. If me and my wife need to sit down and talk about stuff like now, in the last 2 weeks have been pretty like hell for us, because I don't really know what's going to happen, right? I haven't known what's going to happen for a little while. I mean, I'm very positive about what's going to happen. So I'm not worried. I'm not scared. But over the last couple of weeks, now I know what it all is. By the way, I've had the diagnosis and everything else, so it's all been confirmed as to what it is and everything else. But up until that point, we didn't know what was going to happen. And we were talking about the wills and stuff like that, and we were talking about, well, what happens? Is my wife going to stay in Cyprus if I'm not here? Where would they go? What would they do? Where's the support? I've given her my view of what I think she would be best for her, but ultimately it'll come down to her choice. And nobody likes having those conversations, but you need to, because there's no point burying your head in the sand, because the two things that are guaranteed is life are death and taxes. There's two things. One thing, death and taxes. They're the two things that are guaranteed. Sooner or later, if you are in a relationship, if you're married, if you're in a civil partnership, whatever, sooner or later, one of you won't be here. And it's a crap thought, but it happens to everybody, right? Unless you die in a car crash together, sooner or later, you're not going to be here. But then this executive piece I've talked about tonight is exactly the thing that we needed to work out, because if we dropped my son off at school and then we both came back and we, were in a nasty accident, well, then who becomes the executor? Who looks after him? And we're even having those conversations because, now there's a chance that I might not be around. I mean, slim chance, but there's a chance I might not be around. So what happens if then anything happened to Asher? Don't know. Well, what do you do? Where does Jacob go? Don't know. Do not know. And this is, we're trying to figure this out. And it's a horrible conversation to have. It's a hard conversation to have, but you need to have it. If you guys are moving abroad, right? What if you've still got elderly parents, what if they take ill? Are you going to be here? Or are you going to be going back to the UK? Are you going to move them out to you here in Cyprus? You don't necessarily have to die, but somebody might go into need long-term care. And it's a conversation nobody wants to think about, but you should think about it and you should figure out what are you going to do if, because being prepared is not a bad thing. Being realistic and being prepared is not a bad thing. So yeah, have the hard conversations. Ella Brown. Evening, Ella. If you put the UK law clause in, then would you need to pay inheritance tax on the UK system, or is it still under Cypriot law with no inheritance tax? Still under Cypriot law with no inheritance tax. Inheritance tax in the UK it's an absolute farce, to be honest. But anyway, there is no inheritance tax in Cyprus. In the UK, it used to be that you could leave the UK and you wouldn't have to pay inheritance tax in the UK if you'd left the UK and you're a tax citizen somewhere else for, I think it was a period of 3 years, 3 or 4 years, the original time frame, right? As of last year, in April last year, they changed it to be 10 years. So any of you guys watching this, if you haven't left the UK yet, when you become a resident out here, your 10-year clock starts. So if you're moving out here to avoid inheritance tax, that's great, but you've got to outlive the move by 10 years. Interestingly, if you're watching this and you've already moved out here, so like take me for instance, right? We're coming up to 3 years in August. Next month we'll have been here for 3 years. Let's just say hypothetically that I moved in 2020, right? Just keep it really simple. So I moved in 2020 as an example. Now, by 2023, I would have been clear of inheritance tax. I wouldn't have to pay inheritance tax in the UK anymore because I'd been clear of those 3 years. As of last April, what happened is they extended it to 10 years. So I could have been 2023 going into 2024, sitting here in 2026 going, that's great, I'm clear of inheritance tax. UK moved the goalposts, and even though I was out of the criteria for inheritance tax before, I'm now firmly back in it, which for me, it just feels criminal. It feels like a scam. It feels like the government in the UK, the only way they know how to make money is to keep taxing everybody to death. And beyond death in this case. So you move out here and at the moment it's 10 years. Now, I don't know what happens if you go another 10 years and, what if they change it again? Don't know. Maybe they could. But no, to answer your question, Ella, if you put the UK clause in, it just means that the Cypriot law in the instance of death doesn't apply, and you don't have to have the 75% going to your spouse or your child if you didn't want it to. Sound's gone. Can't hear you. Can't hear anything either. Asher, restart. Cool. So have I. Okay, Lee, restart and sorts. Restart and sorts. What happened, guys? I actually don't worry about that. I'll ask my wife later because I don't know what happened. Don't know. I do find YouTube live flaky. Might need to do something different at some point in the future. I'll have to think about that. Try rebooting I22. It's fine. Working for us. We can hear and see you. You're back. Sounds fine, Mark. Restarted and working. Notice your lisp today very slightly. Don't make me laugh because I'm like, you see it now. I can't smile on this side. It's really annoying. I'm going to be like that. I'm going to be paralyzed on this side of my face. It's actually quite funny. I'm paralyzed on this side of my face for 6 to 9 months. That's best case scenario, right? Because if they do this nerve graft, then it might not take. I could be paralyzed down this side forever. And that's going to make sleeping really awkward because I'm going to have to sleep. I'll be sleeping with one eye open, right? Because I can't close my eyes properly. So as this goes through, when I come out of hospital, when the nerves cut, banging the microphone, when the nerves cut, I'm going to have to literally tape my eye shut at night so that the eye doesn't get damaged. I'm going to have to put freaking medical tape over my eye every single night. That's going to suck. But it's funny because I'm walking around winking at people at the moment. In fact, I walked into, I was smiling, I can't smile. And the thing is, the more I try not to smile, the more I look like the guy from fucking Goonies, cheers Lee. The more I look like the guy from Goonies. And it makes him smile as well. And then I smile even more and look like this. Anyway, it is what it is. I don't care. So yeah, I walked in to get the PET scan done last Tuesday. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm now winking at everybody. And I walked in, and walking in, and there was a nurse in there. Of course, I'm blinking, I'm winking all the time. And she just goes, okay, take your shorts down to your knees. And I was like, I'm married. She's like, I was like, do I just take them off? I said, no, just to your knees is fine. I was like, okay, no, I'm winking away. Anyway, had to get in. But I still to this day, 6 days later, I do not know what that was needed for. Like literally, they put me inside a scanner. The scanner can go through my flesh and it can see your arteries, it can see your lungs, it can see everything. But I had to pull my shorts down. Do not get it. Anyway, it tickled me. I'm winking at everybody. I can't smile properly. I can't speak properly. This is life for the next 6 months. Could be permanently. Philip, we understand, Mark, your health matters most. That I'm going to, okay, right. I know, yeah, okay. Thank you, Philip. No, well, it kind of does, but like I say, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because when you set yourself personal goals, like normally I meet them. Normally I hit them, and this one's out of my control. You know, I was saying this to some people this week. I've never had a problem in life where I can't work my way out of it, think my way out of it, or pay my way out of it. I've always been able to do one of those three things. You know, work harder fixes a problem. You know, take action, and you'll move forward. Even if it's in the wrong direction, you're moving forward, right? You can just change course later on. But right now, there is literally nothing I can do. I mean, I am in the hands of fate and surgeons, and that is it. There is nothing I can do. And what happens to me outside the other end? Who knows? I can't control it, and it's annoying me because I like to be in control. I'm normally in control. I'm not in control of this. And that annoys me. Anyway, Lee, evening Kelly, if you're watching. Mark, we are and will still be here for when you are ready to come back to your live streams. Me and Kelly wish you and the family all the best of luck, and we are looking forward to seeing you in October. I appreciate that, Lee. Appreciate that, Kelly. Thanks very much. At least two of you are going to be here. Depending on when you come in October, you might be able to join the meetup. You might be able to meet everybody else as well. My username is Jeff. That's never going to get old. Not for me. Oh, I hope I can still say that when I come out of hospital. For anybody not knowing that reference, by the way, just go and watch. Is it 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street? It's one of them. But anyway, 21 and 22 Jump Street are both amazing. Love those films. I actually didn't even. Oh, I didn't read your comment. I was going on to Karen. Right, Jeff. The information you provided has been invaluable. Take time for yourself. Health trumps everything. No one is going to levy any criticism against you. No, I know. And you know what, Jeff? This is going to sound. I don't know what it sounds like. I wouldn't care if you did criticize me in the nicest possible way. Like people can say what they want. Like your opinion of me right now is not my business. The thing that frustrates me is I felt like we were getting some good momentum. Like every week, there's quite a big number of people now dialing in. You know, there's 37 of you online right now. 114 people have dipped in and out tonight, you know. And so it just felt like we're getting some good momentum. Then with the meetups and everything else. And I'm probably going to have to restart that. You know, there'll be a lot of people who just peel away and fade away, and I'll have to restart that and go again. But it's fine. I will. That's not a problem. But it's just frustrating. That's all. You know, like when you feel things are starting to move a little bit, and then life puts brakes on and then you have to deal with it, but it's fine. But no, I mean, I'm not worried about people criticizing me. At the end of the day, some people, people will always criticize. I'm not saying you guys specifically, but like, there will be people watching this that they don't like the sound of my voice. They're going to hate it less in a month's time. But anyway, they don't like the sound of my voice. They don't like the way I look. Again, they're going to hate the way I look in a month's time, or as I do right now. So it doesn't matter to me, whatever. Like I say, your opinion of me is not my business. So I try not to do anybody any harm, try and do good by people, and people can judge me on that, and that's fine. And if people don't like it, then nothing I can do to change it. Karen, thank you, Mark, for all you've done up to now. For someone who's hoping to make the move over next year, your info has been invaluable. Just wishing you and your family best wishes. Cool. Thanks, Karen. And I'm glad you're finding it useful. I'm glad you're finding it invaluable. That's cool. Because like I say, what I'm trying to do is build the type of content that I kind of wanted to see a few years ago when we were looking to move, and it just didn't exist. There was nothing wrong with the content. In fact, people I've spoken to recently, we all joke about the same thing, is that we all watch the driving videos. I think it's like Paphos Life, right? We all watch the driving videos where he's driving around and he's got the cool music, the nice kind of background music. And me and my wife, we used to literally eat dinner with that playing. We're thinking, oh, we're moving there, like 3 months, 2 months, we're going to be there. And then we started doing those drives. We're like, we're driving where we were in the videos, and it was cool. That's nice, but doesn't really show you what life was like. It doesn't really kind of get into the nitty gritty. Like I say, I don't mind showing you everything, to an extent. Like I say, I'm showing you life, everything, not necessarily Mark everything, but I'm showing you life. So I'm trying to. That said, if there's anything specific you guys want to see, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. You can let me know in the WhatsApp group if you're joining. Just let me know, because if there's something that you want to see, let me try and tailor a night to it. Or maybe I can just group a few things in, and maybe I can just not do quite a big deep dive, and I can just go through and we can answer a load of those questions, So yeah, let me know if you've got anything you want covering off. Karen, how can I join the WhatsApp group? Okay, well, I don't know when that was asked, but just in case people are on there and haven't seen it. So it is this link here, but I'm going to paste it in the chat again now. Oh, it's already in the chat. It's in the chat underneath. But anyway, for people that just joined, I'm going to paste it in. And there, the WhatsApp group is on the screen. If you fill in your details, like I say, just be aware that people will be able to see your number, people will be able to see your photos. So if you're joining a group, you don't want people to see your name or number or whatever, then don't join it. But you fill your details in here. There'll be a QR code on the next page, and you can scan that. If you're watching this on TV, you can scan that and fill it in. If you're on your phone, there'll be a link underneath. And like I say, it's going to come to you an email as well. So that's how you join the WhatsApp group. Lee, happy to make some Cyprus Unfiltered signs for Saturday so everyone knows where to sit and meet without the easily spottable 7-foot giant. Don't make me smile. Have you seen that? Oh my God. There is a video. Be serious. You look normally serious. Fucking hell. There's a video. Oh my God. I set myself off now. I'm thinking of the video. There is a video when there's a young girl. She comes out of the dentist. She comes out of the dentist, and her mouth is like this. It's gone numb from, I don't know, the anesthetic. And she's in bits. And I feel like that woman now. I feel like that girl, because I see myself in the mirror. And the thing is, when I'm smiling, I can feel it. Like this muscle's overworking, is pulling. And then my face pulls. I can feel it pulling. So I know when I'm pulling a stupid face. So anyway, yes, I'm a 7-foot giant. I'm actually 6'4". But thanks for making the signs, Lee. If you're going to do that, you might not. But anyway, just go to the group of people, and yeah, like I said, my wife will swing by. If she'll come around and herd you all up if you're all walking around going, "Where's everybody?" Karen, thanks, you've answered my question. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I've answered it twice now. Oh, a minute. Right. Hey, Mark, so sorry about your diagnosis. We've watched your live stream from the early days. We've watched your live streams from the early days. Awesome work. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Need you fighting fit ASAP. We'll miss you every Sunday. Oh, cheers, Alan. I appreciate that. I will miss being here every Sunday. Like I say, I wanted to do it for a year at least. I will miss being online. Jackie, haha, that's a great point, Lee. 7-foot giant. I mean, basically, for those of you that haven't met me, I seem to shock everybody because I'm 6'4", right? I don't think that's my problem. I think it's your problem for all being short. Like, don't take your disability out on me, is what I'll say. No, no, make me smile again. Can't smile on pum face. I have to manually smile it. Anyway, right. Where's the comments? Well, I can't even see. This is the other thing. Like my eyes going blurry because it can't blink properly. It doesn't clear, and I can't see where the comment is now. That's annoying. Oh man. Right. That's in. So Keith, can you can tell you're a Leicester boy saying go bed or go hospital, missing out the two in the middle. Ha. Yeah, that's just because I'm not very cultured. Yeah, I use simple English and try and be efficient with words, but that doesn't work, does it? Oh man, well, my eyes going for it again now. UK landlords, UK landlord network. Johnny, thanks for joining. Good to have you on. Thanks for your time, Mark. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Thank you very much. Karen, have tried to join, but it's saying page not found. Anyone else getting this? What? I'm going to join. 1 second. Let me do. Right. You get to watch me look at a screen because I don't want to put my email on a YouTube recording. I was about to say it out. Hold on a minute. Maybe that's why I've just put my email in the first name. Right. Submit the form. Bugger. If you guys are seeing this, I will fix that. It's not working. I know why it's not working because I'm not going to bore you with the detail. I need to fix it. I'll fix it before I end this call. No, I won't. I'll fix it after I end this call. I'll fix it and I will put a link in. I can't even tell you to put it in. Right. Oh man. I don't want to. I'm in this conundrum now. I'm going to go, right, I'll put the link in the WhatsApp group. But no, because the link is to get into the WhatsApp group. You can't get into the WhatsApp group because my page is broken. And I didn't have time to test it because I've been rushing around like an idiot all day. Like I said, I've been on the go since 5:30 this morning. And that's really annoyed me now. I'm not going to lie. 2 things annoy me tonight. Tell you what, right. Guys, go make a coffee. I'm going to get this up and running really quickly. I know what the problem is. Aside from the fact that I'm a twonk, I'm going to get this up and running. I'm not going to tell you till I can share because it's on the screen. I'm not going to tell you why I do this because I've said it many times before. And I'm going to fix this page really quick. Make tea, make a coffee, come back. Entertain yourselves, or I could just sit and talk while I'm clicking through websites. This didn't go well, did it? But the great thing is, you guys get to see me warts and all, right? Because if this was a recorded video, I would have just fixed it and I'd have re-recorded this segment. But no, because somebody thought it'd be a good idea to do it live. Now you get to see everything when it goes wrong. But that's okay. That is okay. Right, nearly there, guys. Right. I'll let you know when it's there. How's everybody's tea doing? Have you got cups of tea? Actually, fancy a cup of tea. I didn't have time to make it. I've not had a coffee today. Actually, haven't had a coffee today at all. Right. For those of you joining, I'm here and fixing some stuff. I'll be right back. Nearly there, nearly there, nearly there. Okay, I'm just going to give this one last test. That should be working, but I'm going to give it a quick test, and then I'm going to come back. Bear with me 1 second. Ah! That's not meant to be like that, is it? Right. That is really annoying. Sorry, guys. People are going to be dropping like flies in a minute. How many people? So, yeah, 33 people. You've all got bored. Some of you got bored. Appreciate those of you hanging in there. Oh, man. Right, let me try something else I can do. So, right, sorry, folks. This is actually getting quite annoying now. Let me try something else. Okay, made the final change. I'm going to publish it, and I'm going to test it one last time. If this doesn't work, I'm going to give up. Okay, I'm giving up. I don't want to waste any more of your time. I respect your time enough to not sit here trying to fix this. Okay, so the WhatsApp page isn't working, which is annoying because, like I say, I only set this up today. And okay, in the interim, let me do this another way. This is what happens when you're trying to get everything done before you know you're going to be on your back for 10 days, not just running around like an idiot, but it's my fault. So let's do it this way instead. I'm going to put in the chat. Oh, no, shit. I just killed the live stream. Is the live stream, is it still going? Have I just killed it? Because I've just clicked away and YouTube is very finicky. I might have just killed my live stream. I think it's still going. I hope it's still going. Guys, can somebody just say if we are still on? Because might have just killed the live stream. Anybody? We're still going. Thanks, Mike. Cool. Still on. Right. This isn't working out very well, is it? Right. Let me do this. I'm going to put in the chat for people that do want to join. I'm going to have to do this manually now. I was doing this to not create myself more work, and instead I'm creating myself more work. If you guys want to join the WhatsApp group, do me a favor, just send me your number there in Instagram, and I will have to add you manually for now, and I will fix this in the background. For anybody watching this, by the time you're watching this as a recording, then the link will work. But anyway, thanks for everybody saying I'm still here. Guys, there's a WhatsApp, there's an Instagram thing there. Send me a number. I'll add you into the group manually. And apologies for the joys of live streaming. Right, let's get back to the questions because I don't want to waste your time. So, where did we get to? Adam spoke to Adam, Jackie, 7 foot tall, buggers. Keith, tell you're a Leicester boy. That's right. Okay, Johnny, Karen, I've tried. Okay, right. Okay, right, Johnny. So, not sure I'd be happy with a pic of the court receipt. What's the reason they keep it? Okay, it's a good question, Johnny. So the reason why the lawyer keeps it, the cynic in me would say, so you have to go to them to collect it. That would be the cynical side of me. The other side of me says probably because you might lose it. And if it's all in a file in the solicitor's office or in the lawyer's office, then they just keep it. It's all together. So it probably does make sense that they keep it. I just took a photo of it for my own records because if I wanted it, I could just ring them up. But I don't know if it's like in the UK, but when you speak to a lawyer in the UK, they kind of charge you for everything. Like every email they send, they seem to charge you money for. So yeah, I just took a picture anyway. But yeah, it'll more than likely be for that, Johnny, is that it just keeps all of your information together and it stops you from losing it. Because I don't know what happens if you do lose it, because then they're going to find you in this notebook that hopefully hasn't been destroyed by somebody's coffee or been stolen or misplaced or shredded, whatever. Martin, good evening, Mark. Good evening, Martin. Good evening, Sandra, if you are there. Do you know or have heard anything about lasting power of attorney forms in Cyprus? UK, they have two, one for property and financial affairs and another for health and welfare. Short answer, Martin, no, I don't know anything about it. What I do know, though, is power of attorney out here is different to power of attorney in the UK because you can have different levels of power of attorney here. So for me, power of attorney in the UK is, just say for argument's sake, I've got power of attorney over my wife. Then it means I can make decisions for her in the event of XYZ, and therefore I have power of attorney. Power of attorney in Cyprus is different, and I know this from doing the property developments that we're doing. So if I want to request information about, things from land registry or whatever, well, then I have to have power of attorney to be able to do certain things. And so when we were buying our land, we had to in order for us to be able to do searches against the land, we had to request power of attorney. And that was for that specific thing. So it didn't mean that I had the right to sell the land or to do what I want with the land because we didn't own it. It was just you have power of attorney from the owner to say that you're allowed to do these searches and checks on it. So Martin, that probably doesn't help you. I don't know is the answer. And this is where I would say you probably need to speak to a lawyer. If you want to speak to my lawyer, I was actually, from what I've seen, apart from the spelling mistakes and things like that, they were very sharp and they were very fast and very efficient. So I would happily put you in touch with mine. There's another one on the island that's recommended by just about everybody. And having used them, they were good with me. And so I used to recommend them, but I now know people that have had like crazy problems with them. Now, I've never experienced problems with them, but it's like any service, right? I could recommend you something, and for me, they've been great, and for you, not so great. You could recommend me something, and it could be the same thing. So anyway, I moved away from them. There's a big firm, like I won't mention their name, but there's a big firm in Paphos. Lots of people recommend them. The names always come up in the forums, but I know somebody that's going through with a property transaction and just basically got absolutely screwed to the point where I was thinking, who's the lawyer actually working for? So it wasn't nice. But anyway, if you want details of mine, I can give you details of mine. They came recommended to me, and apart from a few spelling mistakes so far, they've been okay. Just, not very transparent with the fee structure, but, they were very transparent with the will cost and everything else. They told me that all that up front before I did anything with them. So, yeah, sorry, Martin, can't answer your question really. Railway History UK, Steve. Mark, getting a oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm a twonk and I've broken the page. That's what happens when you don't test. And it's like, that is schoolboy error. Just because I got it all working. And I thought I tested it. I've got to be honest. Actually, this might help. For those of you that have tried, for those of you that have tried, do me a favor, check your email, because the link isn't working to the QR code, but it should have kicked off an email to you. So you should have an email in your inbox anyway, because that email should still fire. So for those of you that have tried tonight and you don't want to send me an Instagram message, then just check your email anyway. Whatever email address you've put in, just check it. And this is going to trip you up now, because if you give me a fake email address, then you won't have the link, will you? So there you go. Teach you for putting in a wrong email address. No, just check your email anyway, and you might have it in there. Ella, if you had a Cypriot will to give chattels to someone, if you had a separate will to give chattels to someone in the UK, does the person in the UK need to pay inheritance tax as they are receiving in the UK as a UK taxpayer? Yes. I don't know what chattels is, but if you live in the UK and you inherit something, the government absolutely wants something from you. I know people that have lived in the UK for the last 20 years. They've had grandparents that lived abroad, never even visited the UK. And when their grandparents died, they had to pay inheritance tax on land that was bought abroad where the owner had never stepped foot in the country, and the UK were saying that they had to pay inheritance tax on this thing that they inherited from family from abroad. If you're in the UK, you will pretty much get screwed over left, right, and center, which is probably why a lot of people watching this want to get out of the UK because of tax. Tax is a huge reason to leave the UK. That's why there's so many millionaires leaving the country in droves, right? So yeah, if they're living in the UK, Ella, I can say this without being a lawyer. If you're living in the UK, there is not a hope in hell that HMRC won't want their cut. That's what I would say. Lee, two things I've done in the past week after we heard your news. Get proper health insurance, as the immigration one is crap. And two, start looking at wills. You still bloody help us when you're ill. Well, I'm trying. But that's an interesting one, Lee. So for anybody wondering what those comments are about the insurance, when you move to Cyprus and you immigrate here or emigrate here, if you are coming as a UK third country national, in fact, even if you're coming as an EU national, when you get here, you have to apply for all of that. You have to apply for your pink slip or your yellow slip or whatever route you're coming in. And so in that period of time, you need to be able to look after yourself in the event of something going wrong. So like if you fly here and you die, well, then you need some insurance to kind of fly you back. You go back to your own country, And so you have a base level of insurance, which is about 160 euros for the year, something like that. Now, that insurance is enough to get you through immigration, but to Lee's point there, it doesn't really do much else. Like it's the most basic cover you can have for getting through immigration. So yeah, you probably, if you aren't able to get onto Gessi, then you're going to want some decent health cover. You're going to want some decent insurance for if you do take ill. Like for me now, all of this stuff that I'm going through, the first surgeon I had, he made a sweeping comment. I don't know how true this is. I don't know if it's a real thing. He didn't give me a quote, but he said just to remove the tumor would cost between 50 and 60 grand. And then you've got all the drugs on top of that, all the radiotherapy, and I'm going to be on drugs for 2 years, I think, after radiotherapy, or up to 2 years. So 60 grand plus radiotherapy plus drugs for 2 years, it would cost a fortune. And that's why, in America, you can understand that in America, why healthcare and healthcare issues is the thing that bankrupts people in their older age. It's their biggest cost when they get older is healthcare because the insurance almost stops paying out. And this same procedure, the procedure that I was having, I think I mentioned this last week in the video, so I won't bang on, but to do the same procedure in the States that I'm having here for free would have cost between $250,000 and $500,000, depending on what it was and how long it was and everything else. So it's just, it costs you an arm and a leg. So if you are moving here and you don't have access to Gessi, absolutely get decent insurance because, again, to Lee's point, the one you use for immigration isn't going to cover you for barely anything. Lee, same to you as well. I will put the template of my will into WhatsApp this week. And if you want some direct advice, I can give you some direct advice about where to go. But equally, if you've got assets dotted around, then you might want to speak to the lawyer anyway. So if you want the details of my lawyer, I can give you them. And I'm not on commission, guys. For any of you sitting there thinking, I'm just going to recommend you people that I'm on commission from. At this point in time, I'm not on commission from anybody. Like nobody tells me what I can and can't say, right? If ever that was to change, the only people I would recommend to you are people that I use and know, like, and trust. And I would make absolutely clear that I'm paid a commission by them, right? But at the minute, I don't get paid by anybody. I'm not paid a commission for anything. So if anybody wants my lawyer's details, I can give you them. If you like the sound of them tonight, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't like the sound of them. Fine. Don't ask me for it then. Stephen, you had to take your shorts down. Was it a brain scan? I mean, it was the most surreal thing, Stephen. I mean, yeah, I like to say, in my head, right, and this is the worst thing, right? So in my head, I'm thinking because you're going to lay in the tube for half an hour again. And in my head, I'm thinking, Yeah, that'd be quite funny. Like maybe it's because I winked at her, and then in my head I'm going, yeah, but I'm married, and I was just thinking about all these stupid things, and then it's like when you're not allowed to laugh, like when you're back at school, right, and you're not allowed to laugh, and of course, if I say something that I think is funny, it's because I think it's funny, and so I am the guy that will laugh at his own jokes because why would I say it if I didn't think it was funny? People used to get criticised for laughing at their own jokes. I laugh because it's funny, and if I think it was funny, I'll say it. So it made me laugh, and I'm laying there in this freaking tube, and I'm like, and I'm thinking this stuff. And I start chuckling to myself and I'm like, don't move, because you can't, you're literally not allowed to move for 30 minutes or so. And I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm going, you need to turn your brain off, turn your brain off, turn your brain off. And I'm just, oh no, I'm thinking all this stupid shit. And I'm just like feeling like the giggles coming. And I'm like, no, gotta stop. And I had to try and think about things. In fact, here's the thing, right? Here's something stupid. Sorry, I'm going way off tangent here. I was laying in this PET scanner last week, this PET scanner. And it puts me in the tube, right? It's a bit like an MRI. If you've ever done an MRI, it puts you in that, but it was super cool. It had like these cool lights in it and everything. And it was, I don't know, I don't know how it works. I don't work in the medical profession, but the scanner, it was like an MRI scanner, but it just seemed cooler. And I had like flashy lights and I don't know. It was, anyway, I'm in this tube and I'm going back and I'm literally at this point, I'm pretty much all the way in, like literally whole body, and it's down to like my feet just coming in. And as you're coming out the other end, because it's obviously scanning your lungs and everything else, as I'm coming out the other end, there is this laser. That's why there's a laser. Sorry, guys. There is a laser. And it says, don't look in the laser. And I'm like, I can't close my freaking eye. So then when it says, don't look in the laser, I'm like, but I can't do anything. I'm not allowed to move. And there's a laser there. So I'm like, trying to close my eye the best I can because there's a laser there saying, don't look at the laser. Well, I can't help it. You know? Anyway. Yes, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I did have to take my shorts down. Anyway, it is what it is. And they did do a brain scan because they scanned everywhere. For those of you who don't know what a PET scan is, it's awesome. Apparently, they put this radioactive glucose stuff in my body, a bit like you would do with, like you just have it in the arm and they put it in. Like contrast. If you ever had contrast in MRI scan, it's same procedure, only it doesn't make you feel all warm. And anyway, so they put that in, and what it does, I thought this was fascinating, like modern science, eh? The radioactive glucose goes around your body, and you have to wait about 45 minutes at this point. So, in fact, actually, I'll tell you a little story. So I'm sat there, they put this stuff in me, and I'm in this waiting room, right? And some of you will know this because I was texting you while I was sat in the waiting room. But literally, I'm sat there, and you've got the TV on. Well, not in the waiting room. Sorry, I'm in medical jail. Like you go into this radioactive ward, and it's like a radiation type facility where you're not allowed in or out, and you've got to kind of go. People going in, they know that they're going to be having this radioactive substance put in them. So anyway, so you sat there with all these other people being radioactive, and they've got this liquid going into your arm. And you're just waiting. You're waiting for 45 minutes. So I'm literally in this chair, and you can recline, you can put your legs up. So nice, comfy chair. It doesn't look amazing on the photo, but it's like super comfy. You can put it into the position you want. They had the news on. So you had a TV. And the guy said, you've got to be in here for 45 minutes. And then literally on the wall in a hospital, there was a wall. And he goes, yeah, the Wi-Fi password's up there if you want it. Because like it feels like you're in this bunker at this point. So you've got no signal on your phone. He goes, yeah, just stick the Wi-Fi in if you want to just sit there and browse your phone. So I'm like, okay. So I'm in the hospital, put the Wi-Fi in, and just browsing my phone for 45 minutes. Like, couldn't do anything. So I was just messaging people, But yeah, it was just quite a surreal experience, really, because I don't know, maybe hospitals are different in the UK. I've not been there for a while now, but the Wi-Fi was great. The service was great. They even brought me some water. Like, brought me a bottle of water, and it said drink as much as you want. And so, like, they're giving you drinks, they're giving you the Wi-Fi. Got your chair, you can recline back in, and then afterwards, then they take you into the other room and tell you to drop your shorts. So good service all around, really. Lee, when you recover and do your comeback, don't make it crap like Star Wars, okay? Well, I mean, I'll try. Karen, it says page not found, unfortunately, on you, because I'm still a twonk. Emma Glass, compared to Lee, you're 7 foot. Compared to Lee, you're 7 foot. Wow. There you go, Lee. Emma's on my side. Emma, how did your run go? For those of you who don't know, Emma was doing a relay for Cancer UK. Was it Cancer UK? I was running for cancer awareness and cancer charities. I think it's Cancer UK. But yeah, so how did that go, Emma? Hopefully it did okay. Lee, don't be shortest. Love it. No, actually, Lee, you're shortest. Jimmy Carr reference there if anybody knows it. Philip Rowlands, get some eye drops, Mark. They help a lot for dry eyes. Well, you say that. I know when I come out the other end of this, because I'm not going to be able to, well, I can't blink properly now anyway, because I'm not going to be able to blink less than I already can. I'm going to be putting eye drops in every hour, right? Now, this is for somebody who tried contact lenses back in the day, and it was adding half an hour to the start and end of every day because I don't like putting things in my eyes. How is that a natural thing for anybody? Who wants to poke their eyes with a contact lens? Who wants to drop droplets of water in your eye? This is not something I want to do. But I've got to do it every hour when I come out the other end, I believe. Again, this is me reading Gemini at this point. I've got to do it every hour to keep the eye moist because you can't blink and everything else. So I've got to put but the thing is, when you squirt something in your eye, naturally your eye blinks and closes, and then like you blink it several times, and eventually it kind of clears the excess eye drops and you're good. But I'm going to have to do that. And then again, from what I'm reading, I have to put some special eye drops in the evening and then tape my eye closed so that it stays moist and things don't get in it. And I'm not looking forward to it. There's not a thing that I'm looking forward to over the next, the next month. It's going to sound really stupid for those of you that have been through radiotherapy and hate it. At this point in time, I think I'm looking forward to getting to radiotherapy because based on what they've got to do, if you've ever seen The Predator, that's pretty much what I'll look like, I think. Again, don't Google the procedure, but like I did, and I'm an idiot, and I shouldn't have Googled it because now I've just got this in my head, and I'm thinking, God, here we go. So I kind of wish they would just put me in an induced coma for 2 weeks, and I'll just see you in a fortnight. When all the tubes are out of me and things have started to heal and everything else. But anyway, I think by the time I get to radiotherapy, the stitches will have started to dissolve, and my swelling will have gone down. I'll be able to talk and stuff like that, and so I'm kind of. At this point in time, I think I've got a month of misery. And then I'm not saying radiotherapy is going to be less miserable. Don't know, never had it. But a month of misery coming up. I can't wait. Stephen, my 2 pence worth regarding IHT in the UK. The recipient doesn't pay the tax. It's paid for by the deceased estate. Yes, but it is, but in essence, they're still paying for it, right? Because let's say, and I'm just going to make numbers up here now because I don't know the exact numbers anymore, but let's just say your estate was worth £1 million. And I think the free threshold for zero inheritance tax is about 300 grand, 340 grand or something like that, or thereabouts. So let's call it 300 grand, keep the numbers simple. So that means there's £700,000 that your beneficiary would have to pay inheritance tax on. And quite often, if it's a property or something, they need to pay the inheritance tax before they get probate and everything else. And then all of a sudden, they've got a tax burden. Like they need to be able to pay that. So it might come out of the estate, but I don't know how this quite works. If you had to pay inheritance tax on a 700 grand bill, and you haven't had the inheritance tax yet, but you've got to pay the bill before you can get access to the money, you're stuck with a bill, right? And I don't know if anybody else has been through this or not, but that in my head has got to be a bad thing. And then even if they let you sell an asset first to pay the tax, well, maybe somebody in your family's left you a house, or maybe it's their family home that they've had for years, and it just so happens to be worth £1 million now. And you have to pay the inheritance tax on it. And if you don't have that amount of money kicking around, then you have to sell the family home just to pay the freaking inheritance tax. And for me, that it just seems wrong. It just seems criminal because it's a tax that ultimately does affect the kids or whoever it is that you're leaving it to, because it comes out of there. It might not come out of their pocket right now, but it's fundamentally money that you can't leave to them because the government wants their slice, They tax you when you earn it. They tax you when you spend it. They tax you when you save it. They tax you when you invest it. They tax you when you die. Right? It's just tax is the only way the UK seems to be able to generate an income. And now they're talking about bringing industry back and everything else. How the hell is that going to work when the minimum wage is like 12 or 13 pounds now, right? Minimum wage like 12, 13 pounds an hour. who's going to be able to afford that when you're competing with the likes of the rest of the world who are, yeah, they've got sweatshops and everything else, but the UK is not going to manufacture anything, I don't think, at scale. And if it does, it's not going to be affordable. So then you're going to go to the Patriots to go, oh, well, I'll buy it because it's British made. But how many of them are there? Okay, we'll just have to keep taxing people then. So anyway, I'll get off my high horse now. Mike, yes, still going. Oh, yeah, cool. Because I had the issues. Yes, still going. Yes, still on. Oh, hang on. Blimey. Okay, there's loads of comments still tonight. Right. Going strong. Jeff, I just noticed an email received at 1956 indicating I joined the group. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the email part is working. It's just not taking you to the page that says, hey, scan the QR code. So if you have filled in the form, you will get the email and that will have the details in. If for any reason you haven't seen the email, check your spam. I'm probably in there with the fake Rolexes and everything else. Just check your spam folders and yeah, hopefully I'm in there. But again, if you're having trouble, I'll put the link to the Instagram, just ping me on that. Karen, no email as yet, but I'm in the UK. Might take me longer. uh, Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan. Good to have you on. Thanks very much for joining. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. I got the email for the WhatsApp group. All good. Cool. Lee, 17 members on WhatsApp now. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Much appreciated. And thanks, Lee, as well, for the heads up. Stephen, RE links. I didn't, but Tracy did in her junk folder. There you go. But her email was acknowledging the immigration breakdown thing you did. This is really annoying because basically, so I had to duplicate a form, and the form kicks off various things. I'm not going to bore everybody with the detail because I didn't get the chance to test this. It's really annoying. Guys, some of you got the QR code, some of you got an email to something else, which is really annoying because it's not consistent. Anyway, Stephen, stick your number in Instagram and I will add you on there. And Tracy, if you want to do the same as well, I can add you on there, or just one of you ping me both numbers and I will add you in. Where do we get to? Lost it. Keith. Scope Railways. Execs have to find the money within 6 months to pay inheritance tax to HMRC before they approve the grant of probate and money is released. Yeah, exactly. So it's what I thought. So basically, if you did have a 700 grand inheritance tax bill, you have to pay the inheritance tax before you can even get access to anything. And so you could die and your family inherits a tax bill. It could be a big tax bill depending on the number of assets you've got. Herbert Paul, email in spam. Keith, after 6 months, interest is charged at 4% plus the Bank of England base rate, so it's 7.75%. Just infuriates me. Just infuriates me. I'm sure, like a lot of you wanting to come out here, for even if you're claiming pensions and stuff, you want to come out here because it's more tax efficient. It's a big reason for coming to Cyprus. It's also why it's funny when you come out here and you speak to people that have considered other countries before ending up in Cyprus. And typically they've considered Portugal, Malta, and then they end up in Cyprus because they speak English here and it's a bigger island than Malta. And so I just find that quite amusing because it means for a lot of us, tax is a big reason as to why we left the UK. Weather aside and safety and everything aside, tax is a huge reason for a lot of people. Whether you're in business, whether you're just, coming out of that age and you're going into retirement, whatever it is, but tax affects everybody, and tax out here is really good. Interestingly, I'm going to do some business related videos at some point, just around tax actually, because even things like if you are not a trader and you just happen to buy stocks and shares, and you just hold it, let's say you're holding stuff in the S&P 500, then those gains are tax-free. They used to be tax-free on crypto, but they brought in, I think it was about a 7% capital gains tax on crypto this year in January. I got your email. Thanks. DM Cully. The link worked from the email. It says it's waiting for you to accept. Cool. Yeah, I do need to accept some of these. But Asha might be accepting them in the background, which is why some of you might have got in and I haven't, and you haven't. So I believe Asha's left and is picking up our friends right about now. Lee, maybe they made you take your shorts off as your 7-footer wouldn't fit into just one scanner. Put one leg in each. Making me smile again now. Like, oh, man. Sit here like this. Like Chrissy the Clown. Tomoko. Evening, Tomoko. Good to have you on. Got the email with the link. The link worked. Good. I'm glad. I don't like the fact that it's inconsistent and somebody got a different link. I'm going to have to work this out tonight. Thing is, I'm the sort of person now that I'm not going to be able to sleep until this is done. And I'm going to need to fix it. But anyway, the link worked. Waiting for admin approval. Yeah, fine. I will do that if my wife hasn't already. Looking forward to becoming a part of your WhatsApp group as an extension of this great community. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, Tomoko. Thank you very much. It's always nice to get feedback like that. So thank you very much. Karen, sorry, Mark. Tried to message you on Instagram, but that's also failed. Not sure why. Right. At this point, Karen, I'm going to say it's a picnic error. And for those of you that don't know what a picnic error is, it is problem in chair, not in computer. That's my guess. Because other people can get me on Instagram. In fact, let me just check. Actually, I've got 2 new messages since I've been on. Sorry, Karen, I've now been rather dismissive. Maybe you have. Requests. I've got 2 message requests. I got one from Lee and I got one from Jonathan. So it is working. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why that's not working. I'll tell you what. I mean, no, don't put your number in here or in the comments because then everybody will have it on the internet. How can I get you my number? Anybody got any ideas? Tried to make this as easy as possible for people and failed. Try again? I don't know. Given 2 avenues to contact me and it's not working. Yeah, apologies, Karen. I'm not sure. I would say Instagram works for other people and just make sure you're using the right link. I will put it in again just in case. Because the other thing is people sometimes message me on my personal WhatsApp. I don't know why or how. I don't really do anything on my personal WhatsApp. Anyway, there it is again. That's the Cyprus Unfiltered WhatsApp. Philip getting the 404 error. Yep, that's same for everybody at the moment. Stephen, the PET scan reveals actual cancer cells activity in real time as they feed off the glucose. Yeah, sorry. I was wanting to explain what that is, and I distracted myself with silly stories. Yeah, so basically, you light up like a Christmas tree. You end up with a heat map, and it shows you where cancer is anywhere else in the body. Now, they'd already told me that CT scan was clear in my lungs, and they said that it probably hasn't spread anywhere else, but they wanted to do a belt and braces approach. So they did, and I have no cancer anywhere else except here. So it is an advanced form of cancer. It's salivary duct gland cancer or something like that. Salivary duct carcinoma, something. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, it's all here. So it's aggressive, it's advanced, but it's only advanced to this region. So I'm good in a way. I mean, I'm not good. It'd be better if I didn't have cancer, but I'm good. So yes, it's not advanced anywhere else. But the PET scan's quite impressive, really. I've never had one before. I didn't even know it existed until a week ago. So there we are. Emma, all good, thanks. Waiting for 24 hours as part of the team to raise awareness for Cancer Research UK. Very rewarding, good fun, and tad emotional. Oh, well done, Emma. That's really cool. I did put a link out for people actually on the YouTube channel and on my Facebook page. So hopefully you got something extra from it. I'm not sure, but yeah, congratulations. Anyway, well done. And fair play to you. Because did you fly to England especially for that? Is that right? Because I think you're away on your own right now, right? Keith. Okay, so right. Individual allowance is 325k. Okay, for a person or 650 for a couple. There's also the residence allowance if passed to their kids or grandkids of 175 each. So total allowance of 1 million before inheritance tax, 40%. Okay, fine. All right. And there's always going to be the devil's in the detail, isn't it? You know, I'm not a tax specialist, but I know it's unfair, you know, especially if you haven't got anything in a trust, or if you've not structured your portfolio or your wealth correctly, then, you know, your kids get hit by it, or the people you want to leave your wealth to gets hit by it. And it's just not nice. I think inheritance tax is one of those things where it just shouldn't exist. And it doesn't in Cyprus. So move here, live 10 years, and you'll be good. Karen, all sorted, went in spam folder. Okay, cool. Wish you told me that before. I'm joking. Right, fine. I'm glad you got it. Right, Stephen, right. RE links again. Looks like the body of the email references the WhatsApp group. Good. It should. Oh, it's just the title that hadn't changed. Oh man. Seriously, I'm really annoyed at myself tonight. I've been running around. Feels like all freaking weekend. I'm not going to lie. I've got a list of stuff that I'm trying to get done before Thursday, and I'm just flat out. And I was hoping to relax. In fact, this is going to sound really stupid. Well, maybe it doesn't, but there was a part of me that was thinking the worst. And I was thinking, you know, certainly the first week, but before I did the video last week, there was a lot of me where I was like, well, this is it. You know, like this is the beginning of the end, you know? And you start going to really dark places. You start thinking about things as well, this is the last chance I get to do X, Y, Z. Even to the point where I was saying to my wife, I think I'm going to start recording videos. I'm going to start recording videos for Jacob. And I was like, I want to record a birthday video every year, all the way up until his 18th. And I was just going to record 18 videos. Well, not 18, another 9. But I was going to start recording stuff like that. And I had a load of stuff on my list of like things I wanted to do. Like it was like now is my only chance. But for whatever reason, after speaking to the doctors again last week and after getting the all clear on the, you know, so basically I know it's all here, I've just kind of gone, I'll be fine. I'm going to, why am I planning for end of life? It makes no sense. Like, I'm going to go for this operation on Thursday. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to be in a right bloody mess. I'm going to have stitches everywhere. My mouth's going to be out here. I'm going to have a tube in my throat. It's all going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible for the next month. And then I'm going to go to radiotherapy. That's not going to be very nice. I'm going to go through that. And then they're going to give me some tablets. And then that should get rid of everything else. Should. So I'm good. So now all of my tasks have become, I need to do this because I can't do anything for the next like however long. I'm like, need to do this, need to do this, need to do this. And all of a sudden I've gone back into almost like business mode. I'm trying to get everything done before I go into hospital. It's really annoying. But anyway, what it means is that rather than kind of spending my last weekend before hospital going, oh, I'm just going to do this and I'll relax and I'll go to the beach and do all this stuff. I'm like, nope, just like bang, 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 because just got to get everything done. So anyway, that's the, you separate the emotion from the logic, and then the rational, for me, the logical brain just kicks in. You go, right, well, just need to do this, 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 and this, and just crack on with it. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Feeling very positive. It's all going to be fine. Where are you? Philip just sent you a message. Ari just sent you a reply message on my email, so hopefully it's working. Cool. Thanks, Philip. Emma Glass, yes. Can't remember what my question. Oh, you're in the UK. Okay, I think that's what the question was. I was that. Ella, I'm not signed up for Instagram, so that doesn't work for me, but the email works for me. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Emma, Alex is with me, but went to see his mum. Okay, cool. Well, safe travels to and from the UK then. Well, from the UK now. You already got there. Okay. Right, what we got? Steve, don't worry about it. Pointing it out to save you hunting around, as you said you'd not sleep until you'd cracked it. Well, the thing is, I'm glad. Thanks, Steve. But the 404 page is still an issue, so I'm gonna sort that out. So I'm gonna sort that, guys. It is 5 to 11. I've heard my friends rock up downstairs. So I'm gonna hang around for a few more minutes. You know, I told them I was going to be on this when they arrived. I'm going to hang around for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to go. So it can't be the marathon that it normally would be tonight. So I will just flick over to this one last time and just say, look, guys, if you are finding any of this useful tonight or any night, give it a like and a share. And if you're not already subscribed, then please do so, because I'm not going to be able to follow a regimented Sunday night live for the next few weeks. What I might be able to do is squeeze in a few sporadic ad hoc lives. And if you're subscribed and you hit the notification bell, then you'll know when I go live because it'll tell you on your phone or your laptop or whatever you watch me on. So yes, just give it a like and subscribe if you can, and share it if you think anybody else will get benefit from it. And I'm going to say what I always say, I am just trying to build the content I wished existed when I was looking to move to Cyprus. Although, all cards on the table, like I said to you tonight, I hadn't thought about wills, but had I done this in the UK, I'd probably be thinking about wills. So a little white lie there for me tonight. I wasn't really thinking about this stuff before I came to Cyprus because I only thought about it now. Anyway, guys, any last questions for anybody else? I'm going to have a sip of my drink. You now have got an opportunity to ask me any last questions. If not, you're going to have to wait for about a month or however long. Not sure how long. Hopefully not a month. But anyway, any questions, feel free to ask anything you want to know, and I will see if I can help you out. In fact, Lee, you had a question about, Lee, you asked me about Limassol the other day, and I said, ask me on Sunday and I'll show everybody. I will show you one more thing, guys, but if anyone's got any questions, let me know. Right now, let's go to 404 not found, and let's really go to Google Maps. So the question I was asked about Limassol, I was asked a question about Limassol because a lot of people that come here haven't necessarily been to Limassol yet. So I'm going to show you a couple of things with Limassol just really quickly. The question I was asked was around parking and where to go and all of this good stuff, right? So when you go to Limassol, you've got this whole pointy bit here, which is Akrotiri. This is the RAF base. Now, when you come along, the Limassol that you'll see in pictures, like the marina and everything else, is this part here. The marina is very nice, it's very pretty, and that's when you see all the high-rise buildings that you don't see in Paphos. What accident that was. You don't see these in Paphos. You only see them in Limassol because they've got all these high-rises now going along the front. So anyway, you can go around here and you can see this is kind of like a little Venice or maybe like a mini Dubai where it's kind of like being built out onto the water. Beautiful to walk around. It's very nice to walk down this area. But the question specifically was around parking. So let's go down to here. Now, there's a few places you can park all down the seafront. If I just zoom in on here, if you want to go there, you'll see these parking areas here. You're supposed to pay and display. First time I went, I forgot, was there. Well, I didn't forget. I didn't know you had to pay and display. I was there for about 4 hours, came back, no ticket, nothing. It was fine. Yeah. I'm not saying don't pay. I'm just saying it doesn't seem to be that strict. Anyway, you can try and park here, or you keep going along and there'll be another one. You can try and park here. Depending on when you go, this can be really full. When the camera came over here on a satellite, clearly it wasn't full, but it can get really full because this seafront, I'm not a massive fan of Limassol, but I really like just this seafront coming down here. I really like it. It's really nice to walk around. Jacob takes his scooter, there's playgrounds, coffee shops. It's just a really nice walk. So for anybody going to Limassol, highly recommend this. But in terms of other parking, so yes, you've got the parking around here. Whenever I go to Limassol, the place I always park at, and I've never not had a space, is this one here. When you come down literally past the marina here and you get to this bit and you'll see this building here. It looks a bit like an ice skating rink or a hockey rink or something. But anyway, this building here is where I park. You literally come in this entrance here and you park there. And what's really cool is when you come out, you can either walk around this way, but what I like to do is either on the way or on the way back, walk this way, because you come under here past these harbors and seafronts and stuff like that, right? And you'll see this, and you just get to walk around. And in this part is loads of bars and restaurants and everything else, and you get to see all the boats, and it's just really nice. It's really cool, right? There's fountains here for the kids; they can play. And then you walk through here. You walk through kind of like a part of the building, but it's outside, and you can hook around, and you can carry on walking down the seafront. A bit more of the marina there, and then you can go all the way up here. So yeah, very nice. In fact, this square here, this is like the old Limassol square. And if you go to here, or the old port, sorry. In fact, there you go. So there, you click on here, and that's where you'll see this, the old port. And then you've got this big open area inside. You've got pictures of it. not seeing it. But anyway, there's a great area there. So like you'll see loads of kids coming around here on scooters, and there's got like these horse things you can ride, and Jacob loves it around here. So anyway, we just walk these scoots around for ages. Loads of ice cream shops, stuff like that. But yeah, you want to park there in this one. I always park there. Never had any issues. It's relatively cheap. But there's one thing I wanted to just tell people. I wanted to just tell people this really quickly because the amount of times I've been going to Limassol, I've never really liked it, apart from the seafront. The seafront's great. Rest of Limassol, not really a fan. Until we came to this part over here, right? So when you're going here, the easiest way to explain it is when you're walking through, you'll see McDonald's, right? We'll use McDonald's as the landmark. You come across this road here, so you basically walk out where McDonald's is, and you can't miss it because it's the only one near the seafront. So when you get to McDonald's, you come across this road here, and then these little alleyways, these like little walkways, you can't drive down them. You just walk down them, and there's all these little boutique bars, coffee shops, ice cream shops. You can see how narrow it is. This is like the old town of Limassol. And I tell you what, this bit of Limassol is flipping gorgeous. I really liked it. It was just very traditional, very cool, very kind of, how to explain it? Just felt very, very kind of cosmopolitan in a way, but in a good way, like not in a, like for instance, so you click on this as a museum, right? I haven't been to the museum. I was hoping it would just show us the outside. Yeah, there you go. So haven't been to this museum, but I probably should go at some point. I'd like to, but I'm just trying to find anything. No, nothing on the outside there. So let's just have a look. Any photos here? Let's grab the little guy. Nothing. Oh, here we go. Right, let me just drop it in. Drop the guy. You get a feel for it. So yes, the museum is literally just here on the right, and then you've got literally all these narrow walkways, and you've got these little alleyways and stuff like that. In fact, there's some great ones. And honestly, just go if you haven't been to Limassol, go and have a mooch around there because you just get all these little narrow streets, all these little kind of independent places. It's great, really cool. So that would be my recommendation on Limassol. In a nutshell, park over here, walk down the seafront, always do that, and then venture off into this bit here. That's what I would do. Lee, I hope that answers the question that you didn't ask because you forgot. But you asked me at the weekend. Okie dokie, right. Let's just blitz through the questions one last time and then I'm going to call it a night. So, what we got? Stephen, best of luck, Mark, Stephen, and Donna. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Donna. Much appreciated. I will be good. I'm sure I'm going to be good. It's going to be fine. Keith, thanks again and good luck. Night. Cool. Night, Keith. And Sarah, if you're there or not there, then good night to you as well. Jeff, take care of yourself over the coming weeks. We'll be here when you return. Cool. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Oh, Johnny, has it been raining? In Cyprus? No. No, it's not been raining. It's been really warm, but then that's to be expected. Unless you were talking about for the, I don't know, not sure what you're talking about. No, it's not been raining. Anyway, unless it was somewhere in the UK. Jeff, take care of yourself. Groundhog Day. Hang on a minute. Emma, take care of yourself over the coming weeks. We'll be here in soon. Yeah, okay, fine. Thanks, Jeff. I've read it out twice now. Emma, all the best for the coming weeks. We will be thinking of you. Good night. Good night, Emma. Good night, Alex. Thanks for dialing in from the UK. Much appreciated. Juliet Winnett, get well. Have a nice evening with your friends. Thanks, Juliet. They're actually going to be here for the week. Annoyingly, we were supposed to be having a fun week this week, and I was really worried that I was going to be going into hospital tomorrow, but it's actually Thursday, so I'm quite happy about that. It means I get to spend a bit of time with them before I go in, but then they're going to be here while I'm in intensive care, so that'll suck. Carbon unit. Can anyone send me the link to the WhatsApp group? Well, I don't know if you've tried, so they're not going to know how to send it to you, carbon unit. That's the problem. Have you tried filling in the form? And if you've filled in the form and you got the error, which you will do at the moment, then have a look at your email or your junk or your spam, or just reach me on Instagram if you want to do that as well. You can get it there and I can send it to you, or I can add you in anyway. Mike and Joanne, good night, Mark, and good luck. Joe and I wish you all the best in the coming weeks. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Martin and Sandra, another very informative session, Mark. Wishing you all the best for Thursday. Thank you very much. Appreciate that both. We arrive on the 23rd of August on our one-way ticket, so see you soon. Awesome. One-way tickets, I love that. Johnny's coming out one-way ticket as well, so there's a few of you, I think, arriving in August, which is great. Best of luck. I hope the move and everything goes well. So, yeah, look forward to seeing you all on the other side. On two other sides, when you arrive, when I'm at a hospital. Ella, bye and see you soon. Good luck with everything. Sending positive vibes. Thanks, Ella. No problem. Thank you very much. Tomoko, I am in the process of identifying immigration agent for the pink slip application process. Sent your Facebook message asking you which agent you used, which ones you recommended. Grateful for your advice. Cool. Tomoko, what I will say is, and you might not have been on when I said it earlier, I'm massively behind with messages. There's been so many people after last week's video, and I'm grateful for this, by the way. This isn't a complaint, but I've had so many people reach out to me on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Instagram. I've got people leaving comments in the videos. I haven't been able to get back to everybody. I'm trying to. I'm going to try and respond to everybody. So if you've sent me messages, just be patient and I'll try and get back to you before Thursday and get you some answers for whatever it is that you're needing. So yeah, just bear with me on that. Actually, Tomoko, just on that one, I can put you in touch with the guy that I used thinking about it. Whatever you've sent me in, what did you say you sent it? Was it Facebook? Whatever you sent me on Facebook, I'll put you in touch with my guy. Send me your phone number as well and I'll link you up with him. No problem at all. But just if you send me your phone number, then I've got it all in one message. And rather than me coming back to you and going, hey, can you send your phone number now? And I'll link you up. Just send it all and I'll put you in touch. No problem. Philip, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the very best. Every day you will be in my thoughts. Stay strong and hold the line. Appreciate that, Philip. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Carbon Unit, all the best, Mark. And we will be here for when you return. Phil and Amy. Awesome. Thanks both. Much appreciated. Cool. Look, I'm going to leave it there. I can't see any more questions, so I'm going to leave it there. So one last time, I'm just going to say I appreciate you all. Thank you very much for all the support that you've all been giving me. Thank you for reaching out. And, everybody has been really kind. Like I say, I'm still, one, blown away by it, and two, been quite overwhelmed by it to an extent. I wasn't expecting this. Certainly wasn't expecting it last October when I set out doing this. It's a bit bananas to me, not going to lie. So I appreciate everybody and I will see you on the other side. I'm not sad. It is what it is. I will see you on the other side. That much I'm sure of. So you can all make me laugh and I'll pull stupid faces. It's fine. But until then, guys, I will just bid you farewell. And like I say, don't know when I'll be back, but I will let you know as soon as I can come back. I will come back. Until then, be safe, take care, and I'll catch you on the other side for sure. Cheers all.